Coming up in the news, is Grand Bahama on the brink of a turnaround? Here with the port president has to say. Also, the Champs Youth Center officially commissioned. And backyard farming kits distributed. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Rowe-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, officials of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce say they are impressed with the level of participation today in Royal Caribbean Cruise Line's home port procurement workshop. The session, hosted via Zoom, featured representatives of RCL, the government, the Port Authority, the Chamber of Commerce, and some 200 members of the business community. Vice President of the Chamber, Mick Holding, says it was all about finding out how local businesses can benefit from RCL as they seek to establish a partnership for a new economic voyage ahead.
Judging by the questions, it's a real cross-section of businesses, and not just those that one would consider to be traditionally involved in the tourist sector, but from the questions, there were people from the IT sector, for example, asking questions about whether there was a need for technology, not equipment, but Wi-Fi connections and those sort of things. So there was a real cross-section of businesses there, say the traditional businesses or those that you traditionally associate with the tourism industry.
Beginning in June, RCL will come to Grand Bahama for refueling and provisioning purposes, creating opportunities in procurement for farming and agriculture, as well as for transportation attractions and restaurants. Holding says all participants are now fully aware of the economic benefits on the horizon and how they can benefit. Also, during that workshop, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line committed $250,000 to the Small Business Development Center to assist with the development of small businesses on Grand Bahama.
The first trip leaves Nassau on the 12th of June. The Adventure of the Seas leaves Nassau on the 12th of June. And whilst, because of COVID precautions, they won't have a full complement of passengers, but something in excess of 2,000 passengers on board. And they will visit Grand Bahama once a week. So in the 6 months that this is currently scheduled to take place, there will be 26 visits to Grand Bahama where passengers will be able to get off and to visit the island and take part in the usual tourist attractions, but also that the ship will be recruiting once a week on Grand Bahama.
Now, last week, cab drivers expressed concern about their role in this RCL tourism project. They felt they were being left out, but Holding says that matter has been put to rest as cab drivers will be key players as well.
That question specifically came up, and there are the opportunities for taxi drivers, for private bus drivers, etc. Those opportunities are there. And anyone who is interested in any business, any individual that is interested in any of these things, we will be have published the contact people within Royal Caribbean. But if anybody doesn't have access to that, if they contact the Chamber of Commerce, put you in touch with the right people.
Well, the Grand Bahama Port Authority's president optimistic that there will be a turnaround in the Grand Bahama economy sooner rather than later. Tonight, he shares how these mega projects on tap for this year will help to provide a boom while noting the importance of taking the vaccine to help move the economy along. The island of Grand Bahama continues to struggle as a result of past hurricanes and now COVID-19. But Port President Ian Roll believes that with the new partnership of the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line and the opening of the hotel, Grand Bahamians and those particularly in the tourism sector will see some economic activity soon.
Well, of course, a number of businesses that depend on the tourism product have undergone some difficult times. It's all logical that is the case. However, with the RCCL initiative and the opening of the hotel, which should be closing in the next few days, that all adds well to the future of Grand Bahama.
He believes that the mega projects will also create a spin-off effect for even more businesses and attract investments.
You know what? Over the past few years, a number of entities, not many, but one or two entities have approached us about their grand plans for that area. But at the end of the day, unless you have the funding in play, nothing happens.
But there's an eyesore on Grand Bahama for years now that many are hoping will be addressed: the ailing bazaar and its neighboring hotel.
One, and this is all public information, Royal Caribbean is not only working on the hotel, they're also working with us to redevelop the existing harbor. And then the Carnival group, they're also trying to get their permits from the relevant government agency so they can start their project out east. And that will cause and stimulate other activity, because once the ball starts to roll in regards to these mega projects, everybody else would want to feed off of them.
The Port President also adding that he is of the view that taking the COVID vaccine will also assist in rebuilding the local economy.
Because it's very helpful in terms of us reducing the chances of not only our population getting a virus, but our visitors as well.
And when asked if he believes that the Grand Bahama Port Authority is doing enough for the revitalization and economic rebound of Grand Bahama,
at this current time, yes, but I still think we can do more. But I'm satisfied that we're doing our part, but I want us to do more, and we will do more.
Well, Saturday was a big day for a well-known youth mentoring group on Grand Bahama. The Falcons Boys Club officially opening their Champs Community Center that has been under construction for almost 2 years. While the nation's leader, along with other government and private officials, all took part in that ceremony. The Prime Minister commending the leader of the organization for his efforts, as he says the center will aid in the positive development of young men across the country. Our Italia Hall reports.
The Falcons Boys Club is a Christian youth mentorship group that has been in existence for over 24 years. The purpose of the Champs Community Center is to further enhance the Falcons Boys Club ministry on Grand Bahama. Director of the organization, Darren Roll, says he is elated that the day has finally come to fruition and is thanking corporate Grand Bahama and private citizens for their assistance.
Minister, I want you to know that the Grand Bahamian business community contributed to this facility. The U.S. business community contributed to this facility.
Now the property for the center was donated by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. President of the GBPA, Ian Roll, says the company believes in the vision of the organization.
We want to ensure that there continues to be a place where young men have the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves, while honing their skills and benefiting from guidance that supports their mental, physical, and most importantly, spiritual health and development.
Missions Director Gary Wilson and President of Champs Mission Pastor Rick Schuster say there is no limit as to what the building can accomplish.
And to see all these young men that are already being taught life lessons, they're being taught how to serve, they're being taught how to be better men in the community with their families. That's a very important thing. And to know that what we're doing today is already in motion. And that is just a very, very exciting thing.
But as long as we put God first and give Him credit and give Him praise, many lives will be changed. But as you've heard, we do need your help. I first ask for your prayers.
Schuster adding that there is still a need for financial assistance. Now, several presentations were then made to those who have assisted the organization over the years. Minister of State for Finance in Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, commending Roll for his efforts and pledged to lend his support as the Minister of State for Finance.
I just want to congratulate him and congratulate his team for what they have accomplished here today. It is a miracle of what they have accomplished here today.
Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis says he is grateful for what is being provided in the Grand Bahama community.
If you listen to each and every speaker, they all spoke about God. They all spoke about God. And they all pointed out that you cannot become successful without putting God first. And the other message that's coming out of here is that with proper leadership and proper guidance that are being offered here, that we can have future leaders, managers, CEOs coming out of these facilities.
Following the ceremony, the nation's leader and his delegation, along with officials of the community center, then cut the ceremonial ribbon and officially declared the center open. It's Halia Hall, ZMS Network News.
Well, the members of Parliament on Grand Bahama taking part in that ceremony as well. MP for Central Grand Bahama, the Honorable Aaron Lewis, and MP for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, thanking youth leader Darren Roll for his dedication to the development of young men.
You and your team, I congratulate you for your efforts in making this facility available to the young men of Grand Bahama. I congratulate you for continuing to provide a safe space for our young men, a space where they can learn, grow, and become more involved in sports and recreation.
What you have done here, Pastor Roll, is remarkable, and I am looking forward to not just this site, but many throughout our country. I know that you are capable, your team is capable, and I am here today to encourage you to continue, and with God's guidance and strength, you have only one way to go, and that is even further, up and away.
Pastor Dave, stop.
Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Peter Turnquest, and MP for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, say they believe in the vision of the organization.
Too many of us love to point the finger. Why don't you? Why don't they? Why doesn't the government? And too few of us roll up our sleeves and get involved in the work of building these young men. And so it's been my pleasure to support that and to see this program grow to what it has today.
Pastor Darren, you have been a beacon of light and fresh air for the community of Pine Ridge. And indeed, I want to thank you, not just for Pine Ridge, but also for Hawksbill, because right across from here is a community. That is the community in which I grew up in. And if 25 years ago we had an organization such as this, or I should say perhaps 30 to 35 years ago, if we had an organization such as this, it would have been very impactful for us as a community.
Switching gears, food security is considered a realistic concern for the country, and some believe investing time and energy into sustainable food production is one way to tackle that challenge. Residents of the Marco City constituency getting an extra incentive to join the backyard farming community. This past Saturday, residents drove up to the Central Church of God parking lot in Marco City to collect a farming kit from the Ministry of Agriculture's backyard farming program. Minister of Agriculture and Member of Parliament for Marco City, the Honorable Michael Pintard, says that they are promoting the importance of backyard farming and feeding ourselves.
Every member of Parliament is receiving hundreds of the backyard kits to help their residents. Some of these residents have gone on to start community gardens on Grand Bahama and other islands as well, and some of them are actually now commercial farmers. So this is an ongoing effort to address the food security issue, to make sure that we reduce the amount that we're spending on importing food from overseas, which right now is in the vicinity of $1 billion.
Since the start of the backyard farming initiative, many Bahamians have taken to their backyards to cultivate vegetables, and many have benefited from the farming kits.
We have trays that would allow persons to put their seedlings. We have 4 variety of seeds. We have a manual that gives direction on how to put together your irrigation system to water the plants. We have Pro Mix, which is a fertilizer that will also help with the growth. And then we also have a medium, which is the equivalent of soil, that you are able to plant your seeds in. And again, as persons need additional supplies, we will continue to provide them.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.